Day is brought to you by Barton Community College. Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
We have no pressure on us. You know, we're the 8 seed playing the 1. I've seen 1 seeds overlook 8s. We're just going to go in and we're going to be relaxed. We're going to play our butts off and have fun and see what happens.
Really, I just think about seeing the ball off the bat. I position myself the best way to help out my pitcher. That's really my key. Is I know that if I can get an out for my pitcher, it really helps them out so they know that we have their back. And if anything gets hit out there, then I do what I can to cut down the runner or to get an out for them. And really, I try to help them out as much as I can. So being able to see the ball, and I give it everything I have no matter what.
You just don't see guys just pound the strike zone like that, that often anymore, and command, 3 pitches as well. So I'm just so proud of these guys, and that's a good win for us.
And it was one of those things. We had a couple of errors, and that was kind of the story of our season in those losses that we had. We always seem to give up an inning where we gave up chunks of runs.
Nuggets still up 5. Murray behind the screen from Jokic. Cans another 16 in the 4th quarter, and Jamal Murray's got 30.
Give me the ball and get out of my way.
Sam Pettit keeps it in out front. Kachuk shot. He scores! He scores! Matthew Kachuk, the overtime winner! The Panthers take game 1!
Here's the 1-1. Trout swings it down and lifts the ball high. Hits it well out into left field. And that one is Trout here. Mike Trout, 2nd game in a row, and Baltimore has homered.
Welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB, 95.5 FM, the talk of the town. Welcome into the Friday show. Steve Webster joining you in the Mayo Money Management Studios today, joined by Mike Hesher, Mike Corson, and Aaron Clark. As we get ready for a Friday show that's going to be pretty good coming in, we're going to have Connor Nickel. He'll join us via the phone, talking about state baseball and softball. Some interesting stuff about Larned baseball and Brady Hope. That's kind of interesting because Brady's coming in today to the studio along with head coach Chad Irway. Making a visit here today, they'll be talking about next week's 4A state baseball tournament in Salina. Also joining Coach Irway and Brady will be Ty Smith and Caden Morgan. And Mike Corson will be going on the prowl with state track qualifiers for Great Bend High School next week's 5A state tournament in Wichita. Quick recap from yesterday. Pretty good day for the Panther girls, especially Addie Nicholson.
School record, 46-year-old school record, cut 13 seconds off an event she allegedly didn't like a couple of weeks ago. Get there.
13 seconds.
You want me to redo that quote in my voice? What?
No, I'm not going to do that.
But I get there right in time for the final javelin throw.
Bad file.
My bad. 2 javelin throwers in, 3 high jumpers right off the bat, so Great Bend took a sizable lead right out of the gate. And then you get to the track events. All 3 relays made it in. Had a chance to make 300 hurdlers in, but 2 of them got in. Haley Peterson, nice surprise in the 100-meter hurdles. Eliana Beckham wins the 800, and Sienna Smith, 2nd place. Just a banner day all around for the girls, and Caden Esfeld swept the distance events to 8:16:32. Matthew Mader, 3rd place in the javelin. And then the 4x8 team is going to state.
So the girls, the events that they got, have you gone through? I know you've probably got everything down there, so how do they stack up?
Haven't got that far yet. Got back late last night. I don't know when St. James or Cape and Go. There was about half of them yesterday, half of them today, but
okay.
Be curious to see if any of those girls got knocked out. What was curious is I had Hutch and Salina Central kind of in my early mix, and that was head-to-head Thursday and saw what happened there. So it is going to be St. James, Cape and Great Bend.
Okay, so did you run the race with Addie Nicholson? Were you running around the track with her as she talked about her getting her record?
It was in the back of my mind, and I was about halfway through the third lap, and Coach goes, "You're going school record pace," and that's where I knew I just had to give it my all and go and finish it. Kind of want to give it to Caitlin. I kind of paced off for the first lap, and that's where I could take myself.
No, luckily the voiceover lady kept talking, so that was a couple minutes after the race, and you heard how hard she's breathing.
I was going to say,
but who was breathing harder? Lashley. He was kind of following her around on the end because he knew what was going on.
Yeah, but he should be in good shape at this time of year. I mean, heck, we're headed, that's regionals, man. He's going to state
get ready
next
for
week.
state. But he can't go down on the track at state. He's got to yell from the bleachers.
Okay.
He's never struggled being loud. I don't think it'll be too hard to hear him.
It's fun watching him coach track. It's go down to practice. That's good stuff. Okay, Randy, back in studio yesterday. Doesn't matter if they're the 8 seed, the 5 seed, the 4 seed. They're going to be ready to go. No pressure as the Great Bend Panthers open play against Bishop Carroll next Thursday at X Stadium in Wichita. They'll take on the 21-1 Golden Eagles. That'll be at 3:30. Panthers go in as the number 8 seed, 13-9. Good interview, Aaron, yesterday, getting Bradley Hopkins talking about how he plays defense in the outfield and wants to back his pitchers up. It's nice to have somebody who can catch about anything out there if you're a pitcher or a relief pitcher for the Panthers.
And that's been fun to watch from Bradley all season. Does a great job tracking the ball in the air and gets the balls that you wouldn't think he'd be able to get to, the fly balls that I think are going to result in maybe even an extra base run. Bradley runs over, makes the slide, makes the dive, gets his glove on the ball, and usually comes up with it.
Chad Irway, he'll be in studio. That was after the victory over Pratt on Tuesday with Mike Hesher at the controls in the press box after the 1-0 win over Pratt. Yeah, I would say it's a good win for him.
Definitely. 2 good wins, actually, because, it's 2-0 and 1-0. You got to love those games, especially after Wednesday with Hoisington and that debacle.
Listen, we'll get to your civilian problems here in just a moment. Carrie Minton talking in studio yesterday. She was on Sports Day talking about that 5-run first inning that Eisenhower had against the Lady Panthers championship game, the 5A regional. And, defensively, maybe that's kind of been a sore spot all season. They got down 5-0 right away and ended up getting beat 6-2, but still good season for Great Bend as they got to the championship game and also beat Hayes.
And so many young kids on this team, so you hope they can see, hey, we need to work on this and this because we're that close as freshman and sophomore. Second point on that, you told her yesterday that for somebody who doesn't want to be interviewed, she's great. The audio on that cut, fantastic. So when you write your book and you need a female voice for all the women basketball coaches and players, Carrie Minton.
I think she's ought to be one of those AI voices.
Left turn.
I could easily get some directions from Carrie Minton and not end up in Sedgwick County Zoo.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah, then there's that. Okay. By the way, Larned, they will open play. That's kind of disappointing. You go to 4A because now you got to go to nothing against Dean Evans Stadium in Salina, but when it's compared to Toyton Family Stadium at K-State, I think I'd rather play in Manhattan. But the Larned Indians will be playing at 1:15 next Thursday in Salina. They will take on the number 3 seed McPherson. So we'll get more on McPherson coming up here in just a little bit. Okay, and Hoisington, we found out who their opponent's going to be. It'll be an 8-1 matchup as they get to play in Manhattan. The Cardinals, 15-7, will take on number 1 seed Humboldt at 3:30 next Thursday. And here in Great Bend, the 2-1A state tournament, Little River's the number 1 seed, 20-1. But I don't want to play Pittsburgh Colgan in anything, man, because they always come in. I think they're 12-11, and they just play big schools all the time. So yeah, good luck, Little River.
Just talking to the ex-Sacred Heart football coach at the track meet for about 20 minutes yesterday, and I specifically brought up Colgan without even seeing that bracket, that it's football, it's baseball, it's basketball. They always come in with these terrible records. Hey, that's the number 8 seed walkover. No,
it's not at all. So Little River is the number 1 seed here in Great Bend next week. Some play-by-play calls. A call last night here on KVGB from ESPN Radio. Jamal Murray knocking down a three-pointer. Nuggets beat the Lakers 108-103. So a 2-0 lead for the Nuggets heading to Los Angeles. Saturday, tomorrow night, we'll have that game for you here on KVGB starting at 7 o'clock.
If I remember right, the Lakers actually had, if not an 11-point, at least a double-digit point lead in the fourth quarter of that game against the Nuggets. Jamal Murray started going unconscious from behind the arc. I believe at one point he had hit 4 threes in a row, 2 of them, I believe, over 25 feet away, one of them over Anthony Davis. Impressive showing from the fourth quarter to push Jamal Murray and the Nuggets to a lead over the Lakers.
I went to bed early last night and then had to go to the bathroom, got up about 2 a.m. and saw the game-winning goal from Matthew Tkachuk. Tkachuk in the winning goal in overtime. Panthers beat the Hurricanes in 4 overtimes last night by the score of 3-2. That's pretty good energy for that play-by-play guy on WQAM. In 3 periods, 4th overtime, and he's still bringing it.
The siren woke him up. He didn't even know where he was.
So, Mr. Civilian
come back to me somehow.
Civilian problems of having a 12-run 5th inning.
Okay, he's inside. He's inside. He gets a 20-minute intermission, after every period. He can go eat. Okay.
No, he's got to handle, that's like 7 Panther profiles he has to do between periods. He doesn't get time off.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
Well, they take it back to the WQAM Central Hockey Control Center.
They probably have 2 or 3 people who can handle it. I'm sure the play-by-play guy is not doing interviews in between intermissions. Yikes. I'm glad I'm leaving. I need a break from you people.
What Lindsay call you, the spoon? You just
Most of the time it's the saute. They call me the saute because I like to keep things stirred up, which I did this morning.
Well, you stirred things up all day, and now people get stirred up back at you, and then you want to go home.
I take my ball and go home, by golly.
And the call on KRAP radio in Iuka last night as Mike Trout homers over the Dollar Horse in Lindsborg for the Hustlers. That's a big home run, but the Hustlers having a tough time with the Lindsborg High Heat going into the weekend, trailing 6-4.
Where did he hit it? Trout here.
And I was by the Iuka the other day on my way to Pratt, and I did not realize they were upgrading Steve Webster Memorial Stadium.
That's Ford Field, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for the legendary Smokey Ford who started the Hustlers.
It's Ford Field
about Iuka.
Well, he coached the Hustlers. I mean,
did he really?
Yeah, he's just he did. Did you stop and go sit in the stands and eventually see the men come out on the field? It's
Yes,
like
I
Field
did.
of Dreams.
I was very impressed. I saw the little plaque that said, "Money can be raised and sent to this place for the Steve Webster Memorial Stadium."
The Memorial Stadium?
Well, it's going to take a few years to get funded.
Jeez. There you go. Sounds the past 24 hours. Some headlines. No Royals discussion today. The Royals off yesterday. They start a series in Chicago tonight against the White Sox, wrapping up that 9-game road trip. We'll have it for you at 6 here on KVGB. Tough night for the Barton Cougars last night. 4 errors in the game. That's only the 4th time they've done that in 50 games this year. They lose to Cali 9-6, left the bases loaded 3 times. So now they'll have to come back through the losers bracket and taking on Fort Scott in a losers bracket game at Eck Stadium in Wichita. If they'd win that game, they'd have the late game tonight between the winner of KCK and Butler. So Cougars want to keep their season going. They're going to have to do it through the losers bracket. Bryson DeChambeau, the leader of the frost-delayed PGA Championship in Pittsford, New York. NASCAR returning to North Wilkesboro Speedway for the first time in 27 years. People want them to return to Rockingham Speedway, where they've done some upgrades. Rockingham, North Carolina. And when Secretariat won the Preakness a half-century ago, his final time of 1 minute 55 seconds wasn't all that noteworthy. I figured you'd get into this, Corson. I mean, this is a track-type event. It's a second slower than the Preakness mark set 2 years ago by Canonero II. But the dispute over that time was only the beginning. It wasn't until 2012 when the owner, Penny Chenery, finally succeeded in securing her horse's record. After a hearing and a review of video footage, the Maryland Racing Commission changed the official time of the race to 153. Secretariat still holds all 3 Triple Crown time records from his magical year in 1973.
You want to know the difference? Saw a girl go down with a leg injury yesterday. She got to go home.
We'll see her race again.
Yeah, that would be tough. I mean,
a lot of pressure on those high school kids.
That would raise the stakes.
Belmont stakes.
Okay, we've got a full studio coming in here today. I'm going to talk to Connor Nickel coming up next.
If you're not filling with Cenex Premium Diesel, then you're not giving your fuel system the premium treatment. Cenex Roadmaster XL comes with a more complete additive package for a more complete burn, while restoring your power by up to 4.5% and your fuel economy by up to 5%. Typical number 2 diesel? I guess it covers the basics. Cenex Premium Diesel. Diesel that doesn't mess around.
Contact American Plains Co-op in Great Bend, your certified Cenex distributor today.
Attention Kansas high schoolers. Barton Community College wants to help you get ahead in your education and save money with new early college online savings. Starting March 20th, pay only $75 per credit hour on any Barton online course. That's a savings of up to $80. All online classes are eligible, including career technical and general education. Learn more at bartoncccc.edu/earlycollege.
Attention gardeners! Sutherland's is your local destination for an outdoor paradise. Get ready for an exclusive offer that will make your green dreams come true. With their famous early bird sale, you can now enjoy 50% off trees and shrubs every day while supplies last. From shade and fruit trees to grasses, conifers, and more, Sutherland's has the widest selection around. Sutherland's, West 10th Great Bend, helping America build it better since 1917.
Coming Friday to the Schaefer Gallery, Things I Saw in the Sky, an art exhibition by Shannon Trevelyan and Laura Lee Emmel. This exhibit features the dynamic paintings of these 2 talented artists that is full of images from dream and mythos. The exhibit will begin this Friday with a reception in the gallery on the Barton campus that begins at 6:30. The exhibit runs through June 16th at the Schaefer Gallery, where the Old West meets the future.
It's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Connor Nickel joining us today on the show. A good program. And it's good because Connor's on here today. Okay, you're always thinking, on the same path as us here on Sports Day, because we have members of the Larned baseball team, Chad Irway's coming in, and one of those players is going to be in studio here in just a little bit is Brady Hope, and one of the pitchers that pitched one of the 2 shutouts down in Pratt at the 4A Sub-State this week. And you got some good information because, man, Brady Hope has been hampered by injuries, Connor, and to see him back out on the field just kind of brings joy to one's heart.
Yeah, it's really an incredible story. Coach Irway and I spent a long time talking last night, and he called it one of the best sports stories of the school year all across Kansas. And I really believe that. He was a guy who was hurt 2 years ago as well, managed to play last year, certainly hampered, and then he suffered a significant injury last fall. And Brady Hope did not know if he was ever going to play baseball again or ever pitch. And Coach Irway said, God can heal you. Let's pray. And it is truly a miracle how far he has come. I mean, this is a guy who's had an amazing season. And did not know if he was ever going to play baseball again, which is how severely he got hurt. There's a lot of scar tissue in that arm that basically helped, in a way, I'm summarizing here, helped heal that UCL. Of course, the UCL is what we relate to Tommy John surgery. And so he's had just an amazing year. Obviously, the game again against Pratt, 7 innings, 2 hits, 3 Ks. They win 1-zip. You go back to the Russell-Victoria game, which was a big turning point in this season. You know, Russell-Victoria was undefeated entering that game. That was May 7th. He struck out 9 in 7. You know, he looked like that number 1 ace. Of course, back on April 4th and then April 6th, you know, Pratt had a really tough scheduling where they had to play 4 games in 2 days. They lost two of those against Pratt, and Hope pitched in one of those Pratt games, and it was certainly a tough game. So he's come so far. There was a photo Janet Splosky took it after they beat Pratt of Hope jumping into Coach's arms, and you know, those are moments that honestly that you'll remember for a long time. And it's been so cool, kind of a theme throughout the state this year, the last several days, is how many of these stories that we've had. You know, Brady Hope coming back, Pittsburgh softball, their first trip since 2002. The coach's daughter is, if not the best player, certainly in the top 3. She's been battling some significant health scares throughout the spring. And she had a huge tournament in Pittsburgh's at state. And then one of 2 undefeated softball teams left in Kansas, a team that we've kind of mentioned in the past. McLouth softball, which will be the number 1 seed at Pratt. Ballard Patterson, their longtime coach, been there for 30 years. He has been battling cancer. McLouth has never won a state championship. Again, they are one of 2 teams without a loss this year, and they have a great chance to win state.
Connor Nickel with us here on Sports Day. So let's just go back to Larned right now. They're at number 6 seed. They get McPherson next week in the first round in Salina. You said lacrosse, or Larned/lacrosse was your dark horse. What are their chances at the 4A state in Salina?
Yeah, you know, Mac is a great team. Hunter Allward was our 4A player of the year last year. Coach Gershner, who knows Coach Irway very, very well, he's done a fantastic job. Mac plays a great schedule. I mean, you know, you can make a case, a strong case, really, that Mac's the best team in 4A. But I do feel like in baseball, you see top seeds fall more in baseball than in any other sport. And again, I've said this throughout the season, teams that pitch have a chance. And what Larned has done, you know, you mentioned obviously the co-op. A quick story on that. You know, Coach Irway said people were like, "Man, Larned's going to go to 4A if we co-op." He goes, "No, this is personal for me. I grew up unable to play spring high school ball. Caden Morgan obviously is a great lacrosse player. You know, he pitched in the state game for TMP last year. That co-op folded. Caden Morgan's the only regular that comes over. But Coach Irway said, we want to give Caden Morgan a chance to play in this spring. Obviously, he hasn't pitched that much, but he's played shortstop. He's batted third. He's been a really key player. So, I mean, I'm going to project a low-scoring game here. What the Indians have done pitching-wise the last several weeks, really the last several months, I believe they've won 13 of 14, something like that. They've played great baseball. This is a team who can really, really pitch.
Okay, Hoisington gets to the state tournament. That was a neat story, too, because, you know, they're playing Heston, and Heston always seems to have their number in a lot of different things. And they were able to knock off Heston at a 12-run inning. Now they get on to the 3A state tournament, and they'll take on the number 1 seed, Humboldt. That's an interesting matchup. Thoughts on the Cardinals in 3A?
Yeah, and I think we just talked about upset potential here and just kind of another theme. I think Larned's got a chance to pull the upset. I think that Great Bend baseball has a real chance to pull that upset too. And I think that Hoisington does as well. Humboldt, I've ran some numbers here. Humboldt leads all of Kansas, all classes in baseball, and wins the last 2 years. They're a team that consistently makes it to state, but consistently does not win it. They do not play in an overly challenging conference. Number one seeds lose more in baseball than, again, any other sport. Quick note here on Great Bend, because of course they are the 8th seed as well too. You've talked. Carroll in baseball has gone to state and has either had very, very close games in the first round, or they have stumbled. I know in 21 they lost in the first round. So Hoisington, I think, has a great shot. I do not think Humboldt's the favorite in 3A. Whether or not they were playing Hoisington or not, I just don't see Humboldt having the depth and the pitching, and again the battle-tested nature to win 3 games.
Randy Beck has the Panthers in there again. They came up with a couple of victories. They probably expecting to take on Capon in the championship game. They didn't get it because Andover beat them, but then what a comeback. They come back and win it, and now they're in the 5A tournament. Great story with Great Bend baseball this year. This is kind of a rebuilding year with this young talent, but I think we're going to see Great Bend in a lot of postseason events and a lot of sports with this young class of very talented freshmen and sophomores that they have.
Yeah, this has been a great. I think that Coach Beck has done an exemplary job. We've talked about their pitching staff several times, many times in the past. And how many years has it been that Great Bend has beaten Hayes High in the postseason for baseball? You go back, obviously Frank Leo's last year at Hayes High. This would be 2019. Great Bend beat them that year too when Hayes High was 20-1. This year, Hayes High and Great Bend split 2 games. I know Coach Beck had told Mike Corson, basically we would rather not play Hayes High again, and they come out and then they beat them. Carson has again thrown it really well. Stolzans too. You've got a deep pitching staff. And I always go back to what Coach Gershner for McPherson did last year. He goes, we had 3 good arms, and we were able to manage the pitch count at state where we didn't have to burn anybody in one game. It's going to be really interesting to see what Great Bend does. But again, when you are winning low-scoring postseason-type games, that bodes well for state. You just do not see 12-10 games. I think that Great Bend, honestly, has a great chance to win the state game. I really, really do.
Okay, what else as we head into next week? State baseball, state softball. What kind of catches your eye for any of the classes out there, Connor?
Yes, the big story is what happened in 4A softball. And if you have a chance to see this on Twitter, it is one of the most amazing things you will ever see. Wamego softball, they have had to play Bishop Miege in literally every postseason, seems like, the last multiple years. The last 3 years, softball has faced Miege in the postseason. Obviously, the state championship in 4A last fall in football, they met up. They met up when Wamego was number 1 in girls basketball. So many of these times. Wamego, number 1 4A softball, 1 loss, had to play Miege in the regional championship again. And it's 1-1 in the 5th. And Emma Erickson, Wamego's second baseman, known for defense, hitting 184 this season. No homers, no triples. Hits a gapper to left center. And the Miege center fielder runs on over. Of course, they have the low orange fence. And the Miege center fielder tries to catch it. The ball bounces off of her glove as the Miege center fielder is going backwards and falls into the orange retractable fence. So the Miege center fielder is kind of, hanging on the fence there. The ball pops out of her glove. The fence is obviously lowered now because the girl was on it. and the ball goes over the fence.
Oh, man.
3-run homer. Those are the deciding runs in a 4-1 win. Wamego celebrated seriously like they won the state championship. I think they are the clear 4A favorite to win. I think in Great Bend in 2-1A baseball, we've been talking about higher seeds all day. Little River as the 1 seed faces powerhouse Colgan as the 8.
Connor, I would not want to take on Colgan in any class, you know?
No,
how about that?
Nothing.
yeah, they come in with their 12 and 11, right.
Yes. With that incredible schedule, 32 state trips and 36 games. That is the first, I think it's the 11 a.m. game in Great Bend, one to definitely circle. And the last note, Haven softball, number 1 seed in 3A. Frontenac, the number one ranked team all year, lost out. Number 2 team, Silver Lake, lost out. I talked with Coach Ashworth last night. He's got another amazing team. Sadie Estelle hitting over 630. Haven softball should be our 3A favorite.
Connor Nickel, man, we can't wait to talk to you next week. We'll have plenty of things to wrap up here on a great sports season.
Certainly. Hey, Steve-O, as always, thanks so much.
Connor Nickel, man, he brings it every week here on Sports Day. Thankfully, he is here with us on 1590 KVGB 95.5 FM. Great Friday Sports Day rolling on here on KVGB right after this.
At Next-Tech Wireless, we know how important it is to stay connected. You can keep the whole family connected without breaking the bank. Now you can get up to 1, 2, 3, 4 lines for $100. And that's not all. Bring your number to us and get a $100 Visa gift card. Only at Next-Tech Wireless, home on the range.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Wright, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
Commemorate the anniversary of D-Day at the Symphony at Sunset concert, Saturday, June 3rd at the Eisenhower Presidential Library campus. Free admission to the museum beginning at 10 a.m. Concert events begin at 4 with activities and food vendors. Everyday Lights concert at 5:30. The 1st Infantry Division Band at 7 and the Salina Symphony at 8:30. The Symphony at Sunset concert, Saturday, June 3rd on the campus of the Eisenhower Presidential Library and Museum, Abilene.
At Clara Barton Medical Clinic, we are more than just your healthcare provider. We are your friends, your family, and your neighbors, and are here for you through every stage of life. Our clinic offers a variety of services under one roof, including routine exams, vaccinations, specialty services, same-day appointments, and walk-in clinic. There's no better feeling than receiving friendly and compassionate care from the people you know and trust. Clara Barton Medical Clinic. Hometown care from hometown people.
Sports Day presents On the Prowl with Mike Corson, an inside look at all the sports taking place at Great Bend High School.
Welcome back to Sports Day, 1590 KVGB 95.5 FM. Mike Corson joined today by some state-bound Panther track athletes, no field athletes really in here today. Got Caden Esfeld, Eliana Beckham, Mackenzie Premer, and the new school record holder, Addie Nicholson. How we doing, kids? Good. It always helps to turn on microphones. We'll start with you, Addie, just because you broke the school record yesterday, 46-year-old record. But we'll talk about the team finish first because three-peat as a regional champion. I think everybody who knows anything about 5A track probably had you favored. What's it feel like to actually go in there and get it accomplished?
I thought it was cool. We had some returners and we had some new freshmen step up, and I was really proud of the freshmen that got to step up and just be a part of that.
So we'll talk about your 1600 race, going up against one of the state's best and the 5A leader in Salina South, sophomore Caitlin Roop. any intimidation factor when you go in there, or are you just going to run your own race?
I don't worry about her. I know she can run her own race and I can run mine. And that's what I did yesterday. I didn't focus on her. I just focused on myself and see what I could do myself.
So I got to catch up with you right afterwards, and I asked, was there a record attempt in the making, or did it just kind of happen? What was your mindset heading in regards to that?
After WAC, it's been in the back of my head, but that's not what my mindset, that's not where I was at going into the race. And I was about halfway through, and then that's when my coach told me I was running that pace. So if I was already there, why not just go ahead and finish it?
So you were a 5:49 kid last year. You've been cutting down time this year in an event you supposedly don't even like. What was the pain threshold versus a 5:13 versus a 5:38?
You know, I think I just got stronger mentally and physically. I think I just put myself first. I improved myself. I've done better in workouts, and I just showed myself what I'm truly capable of.
One more, we're talking to Addie Nicholson. How big was Roop in the race? Even though she's front running, she only ran 300ths of a second off her 5A leading time, and people behind me were oohing and awing about that. But here's Addie Nicholson, 10 seconds behind her. Could you have run a 5:13 with, even though she wasn't in the race, was she still kind of in the race?
You know, I think she still kind of was in the race for about the first 800. I just kind of focused on her and where she was at, so then I could run my own race. That's how I got my first 400, was about 72, and then I just kind of let myself run the rest of my race. But I would call her a little contributing factor.
We'll move on to Mackenzie Premer here. New 4x8 member, kind of exciting for you this year. How's the transition been into that event?
It's been fun. I never, ever would have considered myself a 800 runner, mid-distance. Like, I was like, 400 is as far as I'll run. And Lashley asked me if I'd be willing to try it, and I gave it a go and actually really enjoyed it.
So 300 hurdles has been your strong suit, where you state runner-up?
Yeah, freshman and sophomore year.
And so that's not even a full lap around the track, and now you're running 2 as part of this team, and then you come out and you're pretty elite. But you said you only really had one practice to run the 800. How did you determine, or was it just in you this whole time?
I guess it was just in me this whole time, and Lashley asked me, he asked me, and I was like, you know, why not? I'll give it a go. So I did the workout to prepare myself, and I went out and ran a great race, and he decided to keep me on it.
And you've been cutting time on your 300 hurdles. Do you think the 4x8 has played a role in that extra lap is helping out there?
I think it has, yeah. Just keeping me stronger, keeping my endurance up to be able to finish all the way through.
And we can't talk about the hurdles without talking about the race. Last year it was Mill Valley. Quincy Hubert goes up to the Nebraska as a Division I kid, outstanding hurdler, so you get second behind her. 2023, Mackenzie Premer's year. Mill Valley's gone, Quincy Hubert's gone, but we get Hutch, and then they get Annalisa Collins. You've seen her several times this year. Is it fun to race her, frustrating?
A little bit of both. You know, she really pushes me to go out and run the best race I can because she's a great competitor and really pushes me to do my best.
We'll go over to Ileana Beckham, who, and Mackenzie Premer was on the state champion 4x4 team last year. So you guys have also been cutting. I think you've cut 2 seconds off each of the last 2 weeks. How is the 4x4 team shaping up?
I think we're coming together really well. I think we had kind of a rough start to our season. We weren't, not necessarily rough, but we just didn't have much competition to push ourselves to get the times that we were wanting. And I think it's all coming together now. And we all felt really good yesterday that we could run faster. So.
And last year you were among the state's best. Andale's up there. You guys had beat them at your own meet. St. James Academy blew a crazy time this year, and they're a 5A team. When you see something like that, any intimidation factor heading into state weekend?
I mean, a little bit, mostly just nerves, but I think we all trusted our workouts that Lashley has us doing. I mean, we do really hard workouts, and we all push ourselves, and I think we all have the mindset of we want it, so we're going to push ourselves to get it.
And then you won the 800. You cut a couple seconds off your best time.
Mm-hmm.
You were a 400 kid when you started out as a freshman. What's the infamous finish? What has gone into stretching that into being a pretty good 800 kid?
Well, when I was little, I always did the 800, And then middle school, I randomly started doing the 400 and then liked it. And then high school wasn't as great at it. And then Lashley wanted me to try the 800 again. So I went back to the 800, and it's my strong suit. So.
And you had Sienna Smith in there, freshman, Kate
Yes.
Welcher, sophomore. Hoping all three of you would get through, but you and Sienna did go 1-2. Kind of
Mhm.
fun having that group that can push you in practice and be with you in the meets.
Definitely. It's a good team bonding experience too, because you're constantly with them, and you know that like it helps them to push through the race if they know that they can stay with you at practice and they can stay with you in the race too.
We'll go over to senior Caden Esfeld here. School record holder in the 1600, another big record set. What was it, 56-year-old?
Yeah, I think 56, yep.
And you ran a 420 and kind of thought maybe it could be a little bit mild at regionals. Yet here down the last 100 meters, we got 4 kids running shoulder wide, sprinting to the finish. A little more exciting than you anticipated?
Yeah, I was kind of looking at it on paper. It felt like it was going to be kind of an easier kind of race, maybe where I could just relax, place second, not really stress about first place, but at least take second place and just be good with that. But when we came down to that last 200, someone said there's still about 5 of you guys all right there. And I'm like, well, one of us isn't going to make it out of this pack, so tried to just give it all I could and came out with third.
And that's what's funny. The top 4 advancing in that regional could be bad or good compared to the other regionals, but it doesn't matter. The top 4 are going. So how big is a wild card is just putting one more kid at the back of that 4-pack?
It's pretty big because after seeing today, especially with, there's that one kid, I think his name's Liebel, from Goddard Eisenhower, really was not expecting him to be up there with us in that front-running pack. And just seeing how impressive that he was able, when he's given the race with those competition, that 4th runner, if he just gives it a little bit more guts and glory, you know, there's another competitor that we got coming with us.
And feel free to jump in on this one, Addie, too. But so 5A, what, runs the 3,200 Friday night on the opening night of state?
Yeah, I believe
that's
so,
right.
yep.
How big is that a factor in dictating how Saturday goes for you guys?
I don't think there's any change. I just think just go out and run.
So 24 hours or whatever, 18 hours is plenty of time?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, Caden, you won regional titles in the 8, the 16, the 32. You've seen the Topeka West kid who ran like a 4:17, 1600. You've had your own state medals. What are your expectations for this weekend?
Definitely my expectations come out as top as many as I can. I think the 2 mile, I know for sure there's about 3-4 of us that have a good shot at maybe pulling away with the title. And in the 1600, there's quite a few of us with a good array of chance. I think there's about 7 of us on paper that have a chance. And I really think there's a good shot that I can come out on top, and that's what we're shooting for, is to get up as high as I can.
And Kinsey and Eliana can hop in on this one. One thing Great Bend's limited against that people might not know, you can only run 4 events. Fun or hard to go into state running 4 events?
Both. It keeps you doing something all day, warmed up, and something to keep looking forward to. But definitely can take a toll on your body when you get to the 4x4 after running 3 other events.
And
I
Eliana,
definitely agree.
oh, no, my bad. Ileana, the state runners up last year, a lot of young kids back, and a lot of people could come back even next year. Expectations for the girls this weekend?
I think that regionals has shown that we all have the potential to do really, really great things, and I think it made us all really excited to push ourselves even harder than we expected ourselves to do. So,
Caden Esfeld, Ileana Beckham, Mackenzie Premer, Addie Nicholson, good luck at state.
Thank you.
More sports day after this.
From the Mayo Money Management Studios, 1590 KVGB, Great Bend, and 95.5 FM K238CK, Hoisington.
Venture Corporation is a homegrown company with almost 50 years of experience in asphalt, paving, and construction, and they need equipment operators, mechanics, and CDL drivers. Venture offers many benefits, including 401k and Blue Cross Blue Shield health insurance. Call Leslie for all the details. Work for a family-owned and family-oriented company that is here today and will be here in the future. Venture Corporation, South Highway 281, Great Bend, is an equal opportunity employer.
at Catalyst Therapy and Sports Rehab. Dr. Dan is Barton County's only board-certified clinical specialist in orthopedic physical therapy. No matter your age, when it hurts, he will help. Call Dan at 620-282-4825. That's 282-4825. Excellence-driven, unrivaled results. Catalyst Therapy and Sports Rehab. Inside the Fieldhouse at 9th and Madison in Great Bend.
Sports Day is presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department. Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Welcome back. Sports Day here on KVGB. Steve Webster with you. What a loaded show today. Full studios, and we've got a full studio again. Joining us is the head coach of the Larned High School Indians, Chad Irway. He's with us today. Also joining us, Brady Hope, Ty Smith, Cade Morgan. We'll get to talk to those guys coming up in just a moment. Congratulations, Chad. Fun trip down to Pratt. It was interesting what you said about that, too. One of the most enjoyable games you've ever been a part of. Isn't it amazing when you throw strikes and the games just move right along? But Mike Hesher said the same thing. What a great day that your team had on Tuesday.
It really was, Mike. Mike and I talked about that afterwards, and especially with high school baseball players. It's one rare, somewhat, for the complete game, and two to have both pitchers on both sides pound the strike zone, and the defensive side of the baseball picking it up for their pitchers. I mean, it was pretty neat experience and a great game.
I think we were talking about it. So how many walks between Carson and Brady?
There wasn't very many.
I think maybe 4 or 5. And then Brad Keller walked 8 the night before in like 4 innings.
Right.
So with the Royals. So.
I saw that.
And you beat Pratt, big rival, a team that had beat you really early in the year a couple times. So that had to make it sweeter on the Frogs' home field.
Yeah, like I said, it's a good rivalry, and they've had our number. The last few years. I did tell the kids that I'd like to be able to play them again. And postseason play. We played them early, and that was in a stretch there on April 4th, 6th, and then the April 14th. We lost 6 games in 10 days, and we were playing. Pratt on the 4th, and then we turn around and play Heston on the 6th with 1 day rest. That's just tough with
pitch counts and everything else.
We were looking forward to the opportunity to maybe play some of those guys again.
Okay, but you come into this 12 of your last 13 is a nice run to go in a state tournament on.
Yeah, I mean we feel pretty confident. We're going to get in there and just try to play our ball. Brady's going to pound the strike zone. We're going to play defense behind him and a couple of timely hits, and never know.
Expectations for this team going into the season, and have they exceeded those?
Yeah, they've exceeded.
No one's have to tell the guys, well, I don't know if you guys are going to be any good or not, but
well, it's kind of a special year, really, on a multitude of levels. Brady and I guess not to get too personal about it, but we shed a few tears in my office when he had a pretty devastating elbow injury. The doctors weren't real confident that he might not ever throw again, let alone throw a baseball and compete with the injury that he had. So I'll let him maybe speak more to that. But being able to have him come out and perform at the level that he's been performing is really a miracle. And you couple that with our lacrosse guys, Caden here and his cousin Reese and a handful of other guys. That's something that we didn't know about. That all kind of happened, kind of late in the game there. So next thing you know, we got a few extra dudes, and we're playing good baseball, and here we are.
Connor Nickel was on the show when you guys were on the way over today, and he kind of talked about you're playing 4A this year because you did pick up lacrosse, but he also said that that was kind of personal to you.
It was, born and raised in Larned, played for Mike Warren in Barton County, and then went on to play at Fort Hays for Curtis Hamke. But prior to that, Larned didn't have high school baseball, so I was always kind of going back and forth. Well, do I go over to Great Bend and, play ball over there or whatever? So I really had Caden in mind for sure, a solid baseball player, and just the prospects of him not being able to compete, a young man that's passionate about the game, that kind of hit home with me. So, a few people approached me about maybe doing something, and a couple days later I was up there talking to those boys, and here we are.
Is he the ultimate free agent? I mean, has it ever been done before? You play in a state tournament in two different sports for two different schools, and he was a TMP Monarch.
Yeah.
What kind of NIL deal do you have? That's really neat. Why don't you go ahead and bring some of those kids in right now, and we'll meet them right now. And Ty Smith, hey, how was that? You scored the winning run.
Yeah, well, I was struggling for a little while at the plate, and first both games it was a bit of a struggle, and then got that hit, stole second on a hit and run, and moved over with a grounder to the second baseman, and then big hit for Deke to come in and score.
Yeah, talk about what it was like once you crossed that plate and you guys were regional champions.
I was pretty pumped. I mean, we still had to come in and play defense and shut them out again, and it was a lot of fun. We were playing Russell earlier in the year, and it's kind of the same thing. I was winning run on second, and Deacon was up to bat, and we were down by one, and he hit a grounder up the middle. Their shortstop made it, stepped on second, and I think Brady was saying he texted Deacon that night, said, "Hey, you get another shot at this," and Deacon came in, delivered, and scored the winning run.
I imagine the community's pretty excited right now. Larned gets excited about their high school sports.
We are.
Yeah. People all fired up, ready to go to state next week.
Mm-hmm. And we'll have people come by, drive by the field, and we'll hear them honking as we're practicing out there.
Well, that is really neat right now. So, Caden, why don't you come on, get a little bit closer to that microphone there. You need to get a little bit closer. So last time we talked to you, it was, lunchroom with the Leopards in lacrosse, as we talked to you guys a couple times when you were getting in sub-state and state tournaments. So what kind of year has it been, man? And can you look back and say, wow, this has been pretty cool?
Yeah, I think about basketball and just this year in baseball all the time. It's awesome to go to state back-to-back seasons in sports.
Tell me about your story and how you ended up in a Larned Indian baseball uniform this year.
Well, it was about December. We just went on Christmas break, and my mom gets a call from our superintendent, and he's like, TMP doesn't want us to play baseball with them anymore. They won't let us sign the contract, anything like that. So it was a rough couple nights until my principal, he called me and was like, we're looking into getting you guys to play somewhere else. And 2-3 weeks later, we were talking to Coach Irway in the auditorium, and everything was all right.
And to have the opportunity to go play for an established program, and Coach Irway, I don't want to say how long you've been coaching, but it's been a while. So to be able to come to a program that's got a record of pretty good success, how excited were you?
Oh, I was really excited. I knew we were going to be a strong and good ball team, and we could make things happen.
Ty, did you know this guy before he came?
I had met him. I played.
You didn't look at his baseball card or anything like that, or
okay? Yeah. I played 1 year with him on a traveling team we had in grade school, but I've known him a little bit, and I knew he was pretty solid coming in.
Okay, Brady Hope, step right up there, get a little closer there. Was that your best game you've ever pitched?
It'd been one of them. It was one of them. I've thrown, 3 full games this year. Our defense has just really helped us out. I put the ball over the plate, they put it in play, and our defense, Caden and Ty and all of them just field it and throw it. And we've been a really solid up the middle team this year, and we've been getting better every day.
Well, if anyone should have some good luck coming their way, it would be you, young man, and having a chance to see you on the football field, basketball, and haven't got to see you play any baseball yet, but man, you've gone through some injuries. What's kept you going through not overcoming, the one injury, but two and pretty significant ones? What kept you going, Brady?
I don't know, just the community. They really look out for me, and like Coach Irway, he's someone I look up to, and he helps me through it all. And my friends, and they've always been there for me, and always wanted to come back and help them out because I don't like watching them struggle when I'm not able to help them out or any of that. So I've just always been focused on getting better and going through PT and just getting back and being the dude I can be.
Talk about the conversation you had to Coach Irway, and when things were maybe at a dark point for you.
So I got the phone call from the doctor. They were telling me I had tore some stuff in my elbow, talking about my Tommy John, and they were telling me I was gonna have to go to Wichita to some special doctor, and I came in and talked to Irway about it. Pretty frustrated because I had just I'd snapped my ankle the same season for football, and came back, played baseball. It was kind of rough because I wasn't able to run as well, and he helped me through it, and I went 6 weeks of PT and then went back to the doctor, and they were telling me how I guess it was healed up, and they let me, and I came back and even played a full season of basketball. Only missed 1 or 2 games, and it was just an amazing miracle to be out and compete against everybody and be with my friends, and I just never take any of it for granted.
What are your feelings headed into next week about your team, your teammates, and what you guys get to do next week?
We were the underdogs at our regional. We're going to be the underdogs against McPherson, but that doesn't mean we can't go out there and beat them. I know we're capable of it with the defense we've been playing. If we just throw strikes, field the ball, timely hitting, we can beat anybody.
You gonna play football next year?
I am.
Ah, yeah. All right. You got to come out. They've got a new field just for you, man. It's gonna be nice. Yep. And for old referees, man, it's gonna work really good over there. So, how many ball hats do you have? You got a TMP now?
I'd say about 4 or 5. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, what about the next week? What are you thinking right now?
I'm really excited for it. Like Brady said, just got to throw strikes, play defense, and hit the ball.
Ty, how excited are you, and what are you looking forward to the most next week?
I'm pumped. I'm looking forward to going in, hanging out with everybody, getting to have fun with the team, and hopefully winning some ball games.
Really appreciate it. Coach, thanks for bringing these kids over today, and thanks for joining us on Sports Day here. We'll take a break. We'll be back to wrap things up here on a Friday here on KVGB. Stay with us.
Start a new career in the medical field with Barton Community College's Medical Assistant Program, now offered 100% online. Learn to record patient history, measure vital signs, and maintain medical records using improved virtual simulations. Join this growing field with a certificate or associate's degree from Barton. Study anywhere and get your hands-on clinical experience at a location close to you. Learn more at medassistant.bartoncccc.edu.
If you need physical therapy, consider Advanced Therapy in Great Bend and Progressive Therapy in Larned and Hayes.
We had a lady that was having some severe back and hip pain, and we worked with her for about 6 to 7 weeks, and we were able to actually restore greater than 80% of her mobility, and we were able to keep her from actually needing that surgery for about 4 years.
You don't need to hurt. Physical therapy can help. Call Advanced or Progressive Therapy and Sports Medicine to explore your treatment options and get your life back.
Now, in its second decade, it's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Welcome back, Sports Day here on KVGB. What a great show. And Hesh, when we were talking about bringing the Sports Day show back this year, one of the things we wanted to do was, make it something different. I think we've done that. I mean, course has been outstanding, Aaron. Being able to stream the video, it's been really, really cool. Your efforts on putting it together, and just being able to talk not only about high school sports and high school athletes, but talk to those athletes. And man, to meet a kid like Brady Hope, man. I mean, he's gone through a lot, man.
I did those games on whenever day it was, and I didn't realize I had forgotten he'd been injured. He had been, yeah.
Not once, twice.
Twice, yeah.
And I love it. And of course, when they got off the air, said, "It's my destiny to get injured. It's my destiny to get injured."
Well,
I'm playing
they are
football
from
next year."
Larned, so they're tough kids.
You were the exception. Love
Thank you.
Hesh. That's our show. We'll talk to you Monday on KVGB.